Hi everyone, back out at the field today. This is flight session number 3 for my FRC Foamies F A-18 Hornet. Again, not the best day in the world for filming a mostly all-white airplane, but let's see what we can do. I think I've got it dialed in pretty much right where I want it now. So still a little bit of torque roll on launch, but I've actually put in a couple of millimeters of right rudder trim, which seems to help with that somewhat. Unfortunately, it hasn't really affected the rest of the flight envelope. Another thing that I did was I started to notice even on 3S, as I mentioned in my 4S video, I was noticing a bit of zooming at full throttle where the plane would just kind of do an uncommanded climb, and I was starting to see that a little bit on 3S as well. So either my motor wasn't mounted straight in the first place, which is totally possible, or got knocked out, or I suspect maybe that the large flat bottom towards the back end of the plane might also be helping a bit with lift. So as it accelerates, you get that extra little bit of lift. But now it's not. The nice thing is when I hammer the throttle, the nose just stays, it just stays buried, stays level. So that's good. I've also reduced my throws in the roll, total of 10% now, 5% in the last flight session, 5 again today, just to kind of give me the feel that I like for my turns and rolls. So there's a full deflection roll. I know, as far as my eye can tell, watching many F-18 videos and watching the real F-18, it maybe is a little snappier than that, but feels pretty balanced to me. I didn't do anything in the pitch or my my rudder. Just left the pitch where it was. I could probably reduce it, but I always like to have, I find about an extra 10% authority in the pitch over what I absolutely minimally need, just in case I get myself in trouble. But I'm super pleased with how well this plane flies, and when I can see it, when it's not in the fog, how awesome it looks. Okay, so there's my alarm. So I'm just going to chop the power there and dead stick it. Just glides forever. Yeah, really efficient on the glide here. So while I walk into the next postal code to go pick up my airplane. So yeah, so I reduced the throws. So now my throws in the roll, I've got about 3/4 of an inch in the elevon, and I think about 3/8 of an inch in the aileron. So it doesn't, and again, I'm only flying with 15% expo in that axis, and again, I've got about 1.25 inches in the pitch. I guess about 3/4 of an inch still in the rudder. So yeah, I'll just show you here. I'll just disconnect my battery so I don't hurt myself. So what I did, it's going to be hard for you to see, but I've got a couple of little extra washers just in the top 2 screws here where my motor's attached. That sort of helps keep the nose down, so when I hammer the throttle, it's not doing this. I mean, it wasn't an aggressive zoom, but I think that perhaps this, pretty much, that's a very large portion of the bottom of the fuselage is pretty much flat. And my experience with other airplanes, F-15s, F-22s, You know, quite often those, as you get more air flowing over theirs and underneath that, it can actually cause a little bit of lift, which is actually not a bad thing. I mean, if the only thing that I needed to do was adjust my motor, and again, you know, maybe I've got something out of whack, but it's probably angled down, I don't know, maybe 4 degrees, 5 degrees, not a whole lot. But so what that then does is it just allows the, you know, when I'm flying, it just allows the plane to stay buried rather than, you know, zooming, because then it does tend to lose a little bit of airspeed. But the very good thing about that, getting back to my point, is that it makes it feel, it probably is adding some lift. So when I'm just flying around, it actually feels like it has a much lower wing loading, because it does feel, I mean, this is at around 21.2 ounces as it sits right now, about 601 grams. And I've got some other planes about the same size that weigh the same, but this feels lighter on the sticks, like it has, you know, a lower, almost like it had a larger wing kind of thing. But yeah, so anyway, you can see she's a little dirty there on that pure white foam, and just screaming for a paint job, which is going to get very soon. So I'm going to do, after this flight session in the next couple of days, I'm going to do sort of a table talk on my, you know, just different things I learned about the build, flying. And then I've also already had a request from one of my loyal YouTube followers to do sort of my take on the differences between what I've seen thus far between, you know, a prop and slot park jet and a tail-mounted park jet. So I'll be doing that as well. So hopefully within the next, I don't know, week or so that'll be up. So anyway, thanks very much for watching, folks. Blue sky, wouldn't mind seeing some of that today. Calm winds to everyone. Park jet noise, the other sound of freedom, baby. Take care.